guys, Vera Sweeney from Zombies Are Real, and last night I rewatched Train to Busan, one of my favorite zombie movies, probably of all time. And yeah, I said it. I'm making such a bold statement, but I wanted to put together a quick video to tell you 5 reasons why you must watch Train to Busan, even though it's an international film. And I know there's a lot of people that are anti-subtitles and they're not really into watching movies that are not in English or dubbed in English, but I'm telling you, it is worth the effort. It is worth the time it takes to read those subtitles, because that is how good this movie is. And here are my 5 reasons. I don't know how I'm going to do this without telling you any spoilers. Oh, I want to talk about the movie, but I can't if I'm trying to get you to watch the movie. Okay, I'm going to say no spoilers. No spoilers. I'm going to talk about this super high level, 5 reasons why you should watch Train to Busan. I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to ruin the movie. I'm going to speak about it high level. I hate doing that because I want to talk about all my favorite parts. Here we go. Okay, so number 1, I wrote it down. I made a list. Let's do this. There's no escape. So in the reality of an apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse, similar to all the other movies that you've seen, it happens in a way where it is globally impossible to escape. And it happens, the timeline is so sped up that there's really not a way where these people can escape it. So the fear is almost instantaneous. It's not a slow uphill climb is what I'm trying to say. And so you are revving up, your heart is sort of revving up within the first few minutes. And I love that. So there's not this huge backstory where you're like learning about the history of life. I hate those movies. No, we are in it. We are in it right from the beginning. Really, the first minute, the first scene, you start to understand that there's something seriously wrong, and it sucks you in. So that's awesome. The graphics are also really good. Not my top 5, but I just want to say the graphics are also really well done. Number 2, the zombies are fast. Now, as you know, when we first started watching zombie movies, black and white zombie movies, back in the day, they were slow and they were like moaning, and their arms were falling off, and the ankle was always broken, and they had a limp, and it was more about them creeping up from you around the corner when you least expected it, right? And for quite some time the zombie was slow. But what was that movie with Brad Pitt? Oh gosh, it's escaping me. Z something, right? Z Nation? No, X Nation? Oh gosh. But there was a turn in the tide where we started to see the zombie take speed, and not human speed, almost like extra speed, that it was almost an unfair advantage, right? You couldn't get away from it. And if you were caught up in a group of zombies at that level, you were sure to die, because they had that level of speed that you couldn't escape. So with Train to Busan, they don't have extra human speed, but it's with fury. So they are running at you with fury and with rage and with I can't even tell you that there's not a minute to spare. So when they turn within a minute, not even a minute. I think it's within 15 seconds. You get bit and you turn. And so when somebody, if there is something happening within your region, somebody bites, that person goes down. Within 10 seconds, now you have 2 zombies around you. Those 2 zombies bite, now you have 4 zombies around you within 10 seconds. You're a goner. There is no downtime for you to even make an escape plan. It is sudden. The virus spreads at an impactful rate, and there is really no chance for you to go, what am I gonna do? There's no what am I gonna do. You just gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go and pray that you have turned a corner that is safe. And I really liked how quickly they decided to make the virus change the individuals. And also, I liked how in Train to Busan, so normally zombies, again, back in the day, their innate need was to feed, right? I mean, like we all know zombies, it's like brains, right? They wanted to eat. their need was to eat, and like the joke was, oh, they don't have brains, so they need brains to get smarter, or whatever, like the stupid thing was that people would say. But this movie, the innate need is to infect. So they're not sitting there and eating and ripping apart and shredding and engorging, and they're not attacking to feed. They're attacking to infect. So it only takes a minute. They're really only diving in, biting a couple of times to ensure the saliva, or however it is that they transfer their disease, goes on to the next person, and then they move on. They got things to do. They got to go get another guy and another guy and another guy. So I really like that, because they have a mission, and the mission is more of us than them. And it's very obvious. Like, it's very obvious. They don't care about eating. It's not about eating. It's about infecting. And you're in trouble because you don't have, like, no one's stopping to get a meal. There's no meals being had. So I love that. I love it. Okay, we're moving on. Does this make me seem weird that this is like what makes me excited? Okay, so killer emotion. And this is where I can't give you any spoilers. Okay, so I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I'm gonna say the two main characters, the father and the daughter. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just going to say sobbing. I'm sobbing watching these people. Sobbing. End scene, sobbing. Middle scene, sobbing. Beginning scene, sobbing. Me in the morning thinking about it, sobbing. That's all I'm going to say. They killed it. That little girl killed it. She was amazing. Even the supporting characters, there's a couple that the woman is pregnant, and her husband, they have a pretty big role in the movie as well. Excellent characters, supporting characters, very emotional as well. Everybody really brings it. Even the villains of the humans, you really hate them. Everyone really brought it to you. They really played excellent roles in this movie, and the zombies were the main villains, of course, but there were people that were evil as well, and so you really loved to hate the villains in every aspect of the role. So it was just so well done, and I can't talk about these moments because I really want you to see it, but after you see the movie you'll understand what I mean. Sometimes, like when you watch The Walking Dead, I always talk to my friends who don't watch The Walking Dead, and they go, I don't like zombies, I don't want to watch The Walking Dead, and I tell them it's not really about that. The Walking Dead is about humanity and how the worst of humanity comes out in the worst time of need, right? Like, you see who you can really become in the worst crisis. Who will you be, and when the cards fall, who will you become? And that's sort of like what The Walking Dead is. It's not about the zombies, it's about who these people became. Will you be good, or will you be a savage? And it's all about how they became. And so Train to Busan, I felt like sort of like emulates that concept where it's like, okay, the cards fell. Who are you going to be? Are you going to be a good guy, or are you going to be out for yourself? And that sort of that storyline plays in this movie as well. So we also see the raw side of humanity. So I think also what I'm trying to say here is, there's a lot of parental undertones, a father who's not there for his daughter, divorce is coming into play, overworked. And, in the beginning of the movie, this isn't spoiling anything, the main character is a part of a hedge fund or a fund manager, and he's choosing to do things that will hurt a lot of people. He's choosing to sell funds that will, in the end, and somebody called him out on it. He said, if you sell these funds, you're going to hurt a lot of people. You're going to put a lot of people out of work. And he said, do it. This is what we do. This is our job. Do it. And so in the beginning of the movie, I have a fire going in the background. In the beginning of the movie, he was one of those people that was out for himself. And he was one of those people that was just for me. I'm looking out for me. I'm looking out for my company. I don't care about these other people. But when, what hit the fan, his true identity showed, and I think that was really important too. You learn, you know, thank God he figured out who he was, but unfortunately it was during the apocalypse. Like, too bad he couldn't figure that out when the times were good, right? And the last thing, which I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say this. I don't want to spoil it. I'm trying to think of a good way to say this without spoiling the ending, but the final reason why I think everyone has to watch Train to Busan. I think it's one of the greatest zombie movies ever. And it doesn't matter that it's subtitled. Believe me, I have made other people watch it that is subtitled and they got over it. Is the thing that eventually saves them is their essence of humanity. And, you know, I don't want to get too deep into it, but when you see this movie, you'll understand it. The characters were at risk, and they showed a part of them that was still human. They showed that they, to their core, were still good. They were still wholesome. They were still human. And that small thing saved them. They held on to their humanity through it all. They held on to being their true selves. They didn't give up that part that they didn't harden, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They didn't harden, it didn't ruin them. This horrible experience didn't ruin them. And yes, they were shocked, and they were ruined, and they were like, they've lost people along the way, and they will forever be traumatized. I'm not saying that it wasn't a horrific experience, but they still kept a piece of humanity to them. And that notion saved them. And when you see that last scene, you'll understand what I'm saying. I'm not spoiling anything. You don't even know who is saved and who's not saved. I did not spoil this movie for you. But I'm saying the last moment, humanity has saved the characters who were saved. And that was so amazing, the way that they ended that. I was like, "Wah!" Literally, like, I had to take like an Advil after it. That's how hard I cried the first time I saw it. And even last night when I watched it again, I was like tearing up, even though I knew what happened, because it's just so beautifully written. So please give it a chance. Train to Busan. Thank you so much for everyone for recommending it in my comments. I had seen it before, but then I said I can't start a horror channel without including one of my favorite zombie movies in the mix as a reminder for people to watch it. So like, comment, subscribe, I don't know what, something with the bell, you know what's going on, and until next time.